Happy Friday, everybody. We got the assembly put on my new stand. Casters are on it. I just got to fasten it to the stand now for a little added safety. And then we got to take the belt pulley off because it can be easier to paint that disassembled. I'm going to mask off a few things, do a final cleaning first, hit it with the wire wheel and give it one more good final cleaning, then mask it off, things that shouldn't be painted. And then go through all this fun stuff that we rounded up for painting, and I'll check back when I got some of that figured out. A bunch of new toys came this week. We got her on the stand, mounted down, wired down in the front there. We're going to give her a little wire wheel up here now, one last spit shine before give it the final cleaning for paint. Took the belt pulley assembly back off because I'll paint that separately because you can't paint inside of it when it's assembled. Then once I get this wire wheeled up, I'll take off some of these covers and mask off stuff that I want to paint. Like these covers I'll paint separately. I'll have to mask off inside of these holes or plug them. Mask off some of the stuff in here, and we'll be pretty much ready to go then. We got it wire wheeled up. We got it wiped down with lacquer thinner over and over and over again. I think it's about as clean as I'm going to get it. I'm going to take a couple more covers off here and mask it off now. And with any luck, we'll be pretty much ready for primer here. I think we're going to go home and have a little supper. Maybe actually come back tonight and get a few more things done, because like I said, if the weather cooperates tomorrow, I might just get some primer and even paint on, but it'll depend on if it cooperates or not. Can't be too windy, that kind of stuff, so check back a little bit. So it's almost 10:30 at night. I think I'm going to call it a night here. But enough fun for one day. I got this all cleaned up and masked off, and I think this is ready to go for the morning. I rounded up all my paint stuff. So here's that stand I was telling you about earlier. So your filter goes in there when you fill up the cup. Hold your gun while you're putting the paint in it so you don't flip it over. That's pretty handy to have. I got my new dryer, air, water, oil separator deal rigged up here. So the first one filters out water, second one filters out oil, and the third one has those little, however you pronounce that word, I'm not even going to try those little balls. It's like the little package you get when you get a new pair of shoes to absorb the moisture. That canister is full of those little balls, and they're blue. When they absorb moisture out of the air, a lot of air going through the line, they'll eventually turn pink, and you know how to replace them. What else can I tell you about here? Oh, we got some stuff here. I'm starting to get ready. I got to work on this yet in the morning, mask this stuff off and hang it up on some wires so I can paint it. We got some hardware and a cardboard there to paint. A little trick to plug these holes, because I don't want paint inside those bores. I'm going to have to clean them out if I did. I took a hole punch and punched out some pieces of cardboard to put in there, and that worked out pretty good. So yeah, I think we're got a good jump on the morning. I'll try to get out here first thing and get rest of everything set up, and like I said, hopefully the weather cooperates and we can get some primer and paint on this stuff. So that'll be nerve-wracking and fun and exciting and all that kind of stuff all in one. So, alrighty. See you guys in the morning. Well, if the breeze doesn't get any worse, we should be able to do something here. It's getting a little bit breezy, but the sun is coming out and the temperature's coming out. I got that all ready. I showed you that last night. Got out here first thing this morning, and I got all the other stuff prepped and masked off and out here ready to go, baking in the sun to warm up a little bit. We'll put the transmission on that so it doesn't sink in the gravel. We got all the other miscellaneous parts and pieces hanging up here. We'll round up a couple more things, and like I said, if the breeze doesn't get too terribly worse, we'll be good to go here. Woohoo! One coat of epoxy primer applied. Turned out really well, went really well. Mixed up just the right amount. I ran out just as I was finishing, which was awesome. Dumb luck there, but so I'll give these a couple minutes to dry, and we will mix up a little bit more and give it another coat of primer, and then we'll let her dry some more, and this afternoon hopefully put some paint on. It's a little bit breezy out here, but I'm making it work. I'll clean up my gun now. Okay, we got 2 coats of epoxy primer on. Knock on wood, everything is still looking really good, working well. No issues that I know of so far. I just got done cleaning up the gun. It took just as long to clean up the gun and everything as it did to actually paint. Usually how painting goes. The wind is still blowing. I wish it would die down just a little bit, but there ain't much we can do about that. All this stuff. It's already dry to the touch. It's about 1:30 now. I'm going to go have some lunch. Let this bake out here in the sun and dry well. And then a little later this afternoon, cross our fingers and hope that paint goes just as smoothly. Hey, we have green. Isn't that amazing? There again, it worked out pretty good. We got 1 coat on. Dry here for a few minutes and give it another coat. Everything's looking really good. Besides a couple little bugs deciding to come and land in the wet paint, things are going pretty good. Tell you what though, this suit mask is hot as heck out here. With this breeze, it's warm. Are you ready? Let's do the final coat. Okay, everything's cleaned up. Cans are all, lids are put back on. Got out of that stupid suit. Man, is that hot. Let's go take a look at a finished result. Ah, stupid fuzzies. Bugs. It's really getting windy. A storm that's coming tomorrow must be blowing in. Sand worked good as far as getting underneath there, so the only parts that didn't get paint is where it's actually sitting on the wood. Touch them up after. I'm really happy with how there's a nice shine to it. Didn't have any problems with like overspray, drying too fast, and that's even with it being as windy as it is. I haven't found any runs or sags, so I'm very happy with how everything turned out here. Go run home and get a quick bite to eat, and come back and put all this stuff back in the shop. And I'll probably come back out tomorrow and check it out again and unmask it and all that kind of fun stuff. With a fresh set of eyes, we'll inspect our work and see how many flaws we find. Yeah, the wind was picking up, so I decided to. We brought everything in for the night. Now I can go home and have some supper. But ooh, does it look nice. I am so happy. It's shiny. I haven't found any flaws except for the few little fuzzies that landed in it. But, oh, this is a very satisfying day. A lot of work. It's 7 o'clock here. So basically a 12-hour day I've been working at this. But yeah, looking good. Happy Sunday, everybody. Well, I came out here this afternoon for a couple hours, I suppose. I've been plugging away at putting everything back away and regrouping and organizing. And I unmasked all this stuff. And I got all the covers back on with the bolts and hardware and gaskets. Fished up the 3 steering gear bolts from the inside the housing. I put together, as I'm working on right now, putting together the belt pulley assembly so I can put that back on. I got the grease cup filled up with grease, and grease worked all the way into everything. Everything lubed up good. Little film of grease on all the raw steel parts so that they don't rust. So I think I'm just about ready to put that on the transmission assembly now. And I might just call it a day after that. Probably, like I said, regroup, clean up a few more things around here, and kind of figure out a game plan for what's next. But we'll check back in a little bit here. Yeah, there we go. Belt pulley is all assembled. I got it, I think it already said I got it greased up. Grease cup is full and pumped up. For future Jacob reference, I did put Permatex on all the belt pulley bolts. So that's all sealed up. Because there isn't oil behind here, but these bolts go through this plate, and in the back side of that plate there is access to some oil that leaks through this top bearing of the transmission. So there's potentially a leak point there. So that's sealed up, so hopefully nothing will work its way out there. Everything went together very nicely. The belt pulley spins very smoothly and freely. There is, like we've already talked about, very little play, just like I want it. I don't know if I already mentioned or not, but I got all these covers put back on. Just finger tight for now because I'll have to access all that stuff yet. I threw together these linkages just for now. I did not paint these on purpose yet because I knew I wanted to get the clutch figured out first, like as far as these pivot points that engage their throwout bearing. There was some wear on them, so I wanted to be able to get the clutch figured out first and assess if I'm going to need to resurface these or if they're okay or what. This part I didn't have all the linkages and pins yet, So I just figured that would be in the next batch of stuff to get painted. I've just been kind of regrouping here this afternoon. Kind of went through away a bunch of stuff I no longer needed, kind of reorganized some other stuff. You guys know how you get when you sit to a certain point of the project, you just kind of focuses on getting something done. In this case, getting the paint done, and everything was kind of just in shambles, thrown all around the shop. So I've been putting tools away and sweeping up the floor and all that kind of not so much fun stuff. And then kind of restaging. So just kind of a what's next plan. I would like to get, if the weather holds out and I can get enough stuff ready, I would like to potentially get one more batch of stuff possibly painted yet this fall. We'll see how it goes. It may not happen, but if everything works out great, that's the plan. What will that batch of stuff be? Probably a bunch of miscellaneous at this point. As of right now, what I have here, I got these sulky parts and axle. That could all get cleaned up and ready with minimal effort. We can start working on the clutch stuff. That doesn't necessarily need paint at this point, but that'll probably be one of the other near future things. I'm gonna start figuring out this clutch, figuring out what that needs as far as fixing things and figuring out how to, like this throw-out bearing itself, I'm sure is shot. So is finding replacements going to be possible, or just that whole can of worms as far as clutch stuff goes? Same with like this pilot bearing in the flywheel. Of course, that's no good, rusted solid. Is that going to be an oddball size, or is sourcing that going to be easy enough? Just a lot of unknowns at this point. So that'll be the next thing I'll be focusing on in the near future. So look for that in upcoming episodes. I'll go through and show how this whole clutch works, because that's kind of completely different than what you normally think of for like a automotive clutch or whatever. This is kind of completely different. But I guess I'll save all that for a future week. But yeah, so I'm just going to kind of keep getting things. Well, okay, back to my original, paint things. These wheels could be cleaned up. I don't really want to go down that route yet until I have the drive wheels here, because those are the only 4 things that are red. So obviously when I paint red, I want to do all the red at once. So unless I get those drive wheels here before the weather turns bad and I get them all ready to go and paint them this fall, that probably won't happen. I will probably get this steering gear finished, cleaned up, and that could be in the next batch of stuff. I didn't quite have it ready for this batch of paint, so I didn't really worry about that. Some of this other, fan assembly and potentially oil pan and a couple other little things I got here, like the oil level, that kind of stuff could get ready and potentially painted at this point. So we'll just play it by ear. If I can get enough things ready, I'll do another batch. If not, we'll have to wait until spring, and I'll just keep working on other things until then, because we all know that there's a lot of stuff to work on at this point. I've just been happy just looking at this all day. Oh, I can't explain how satisfying this is to get to this point after working on this all winter long, and all the frustrations along the way, to finally get it to a point where it's all bright and shiny, brand new. And it's kind of fun to think about, I was texting a bunch of my friends last night, a picture of the what I had gotten done there yesterday, and the one commented that, yeah, this is the first this tractor has seen paint in 100 years, and literally that's true because this is a 1920 tractor, and it hasn't been repainted ever because there wasn't a lick of paint on it, as you've seen if you follow this channel at all. And if you're watching this in the future, right now it is 2020, so it is exactly 100 years since this tractor was brand new. And so it's kind of, when you kind of step back and think about that in the big picture, that's kind of a neat thing to think about. The fact that this is 100 years old, and hopefully everything I've been going through and doing on this tractor, it'll last on another 100 years. I mean, I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. So yeah, very, very satisfying. I'm very, very happy. Definitely gets the motivation, keeps the motivation going to get the next part of it done and keep moving forward. Because sometimes you need that little added boost of energy to keep the project moving along. You can almost get burnt out, so to speak, from just one struggle after the next, after the problem after the next. But when you get this satisfying moment of isn't that nice, you can just kind of sit back for a few minutes and soak it all in and kind of reap the fruits of your labor, so to speak. So I think I'm going to sign off here and put together this video for the week and put it up, and maybe we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.